This was requested a lot, how I set up my camera for filmmaking. So here are the most important settings if you want to do run and gun filming with your Sony mirrorless. Depending on your needs, either choose 4K for best quality and less grain, or 1080 with 100 FPS for slow motion. I like to do a mix of both and bring everything up to an 1440p timeline. To switch fast between the two formats, I set a memory recall, the 1080 setting to memory 1 and the 4K to memory 2. You can do this easily by switching to your custom mode. Then just do all your settings and go to tab 9 here and say memory and hit OK. This saves all your adjustments from format to shutter, also the picture profiles. The only downside when not using the video mode is first that you get a short delay when pushing the record button, and second that you can't change the audio level, so you have to set it first in video mode and then switch back to your custom modes. I'm not on a film set, so I want to use autofocus and I want my focus to follow my subject. So I always use continuous AF and zone as a focus area, or maybe sometimes flexible spots, so the AF even detects moving objects like faces when they aren't right in the middle. If you're working with native E-mount lenses, you can set your AF drive speed and track sensitivity also. Mostly I'm using fast and high, and that works great most of the time. For some shots, manual focus is the best and keeps your lens from bumping and searching the AF point, but on the Sigma 30mm 1.4 it simply sucks. So by setting the exposure compensation to 0 and using auto ISO, you make sure that your footage is correctly exposed and not too dark or light. If you're shooting in S-Log, you probably want to overexpose a bit to the right, then you would set this to +2 maybe, so the camera would adjust the settings depending on which priority you're shooting to higher ISO, so you get footage which is exposed 2 stops over. But I'm fine with a correctly exposed image because I don't like to use S-Log, and that leads us to the next step. This is what I got a lot of questions about. As you may notice, I'm not stuck onto one certain setup because I'm also testing and comparing, but shooting for now about 1 year with this camera leads me to say that I really like to shoot in Cine Gamma, either Cine 1 or Cine 4. Doesn't make a huge difference in my opinion. You should simply go out and test several settings that work best for you. Same for color mode. Right now I'm using Cinema. Last month I almost shot only in Pro, and none of you noticed a difference in my videos, so it worked for me, and that's the main key. Simply it's about how the colors are treated and transformed in your footage. But if you want to learn more about the full theory about color, I'm definitely the wrong source. You can find a ton of videos from tech guys and colorists who can explain this to you. But you wanted to see my current settings, so here they are. Saturation is at 0. If I'm shooting in bright sunlight and might want to grade it with my Sony A7III LUT, I take this up to +15. Detail is at -4, not -7, because the 1080 on this camera looks really washed out, and so I leave a small amount of in-camera sharpening here when shooting in 1080. And that's already it with the picture profiles. You shouldn't use auto white balance. The tint of your footage will change while recording, so try to set this to a preset or set it manually. Also keep in mind that your footage should look closest to what your final graded image will look like. So if you want to color grade it warm in post, maybe you should go for a higher Kelvin while shooting. So that's all I've changed. You ready to go out and shoot.
It's all white noise, swallowing me. Taking your high horse and I'll be free. 'Cause it's all white noise, swallowing me. Maybe we'll know why eventually. We see 'cause it's all